This is Doctor B Sirius, here to inform you that we're offering The Body Never Lies, Class 2, October 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This class is going to explore how to use personal kinesiology to help you refine and define your decisions and bring out the best in you. Learn the science of asking and the language of liberation. You see, language can be your liberator or your lockdown. How you ask a question and how you feel and how you vibrate and in the level of frequency that you are in or on has a lot to do with your outcomes. So what we're going to do is cut to the chase and give you the cheat codes on how to make the best choice for you. Personal kinesiology is the science of asking and receiving a definite yes or no to help you achieve your goals. It's time. Let's go. I'll see you there.
All right, and we are live, early show today with Doctah B. Shout out to Doctah B. Welcome back to the platform, my brother.
Hey man, it's an honor to be here once again.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm very appreciative, man. I'm glad you bring in the science and the art of personal kinesiology to the community. It's something that is extremely important. It helps you to not rely on anybody else, and it helps you to get answers to questions that you may be praying months for that you could get immediately. So it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. You're doing these classes. I know you got one coming up Saturday. I wanted to start out though. Because I love to. I get these these thoughts, these ideas, and I like running them by people like yourself or Dr. Valentine or Billy, and just have y'all elaborate on them or whatever. Just add to them. But you know what I was thinking, Doctor B? One of the most important things that we need to do in this time is appreciate and understand the different perspectives of different people. And one of the biggest problems, no matter how conscious a person is that, or awake, or whatever term you want to use, is that when somebody has a different perspective, we get offended, we get intimidated, we get insecure. Not we as me and you, but the people, certain people have these negative emotions when somebody thinks differently. So if somebody thinks the earth is round and somebody thinks the earth is flat, we act like we have to go to war with each other. Send death. People have sent Billy literal death threats because he doesn't believe the earth is flat. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is the importance of appreciating different perspectives, because that also helps us to have healthy relationships. That's one of the reasons why a lot of us aren't in relationships, because we can't appreciate a different perspective from our mate. We want our mate to be exactly like us. So therefore, we don't have any mate. So you know what I'm saying? So my point in saying that is I came to a realization, and I was just thinking, because I'm appreciating perspectives from different people. That's why my platform's so successful, because people say, Rich, the people contradict themselves. I say, hey, there's many ways to the light. It's not just one way. And if they're coming from a sacred, pure place, I can appreciate their angle of light. I have my own angle of light. I don't do everything the speakers do on this channel, but I can appreciate them coming from a pure place, and it gets them to their destination, and other people could benefit from it. So I'm using that mind frame I have with people in this realm, and I'm learning to use it more and more between my ego and my higher self. My higher self has a different perspective, Doctor B, than my ego. Often, you know what we do to our ego? The same thing we do to the people out there. Oh, the ego's crazy. The ego's the devil. The ego's this. It's just a different perspective. The ego only knows what it knows. It only knows it only has access to a limited amount of information. So I ask that my higher self be understanding to that perspective, instead of beating down on the ego or calling it the devil, calling it evil, calling it Satan, calling it the archons, or whatever weird name we want to come up with. But I'm working on my relationship, Doctor B, with my ego and my higher self, and just appreciating a different perspective from each. My higher self has this bird's eye view. It sees shit from a distance. And I want my ego to not be afraid when I get advice that it may not understand, that it may get fearful from. When it gets this advice, Rich, you should do this. My ego might say, Rich, we don't have the resources. Or Rich, you're too tired. Or Rich this, or Rich that. My goal moving forward, Dr. B, more than ever, is for my ego and my higher self to understand, hey, we're both coming from different perspectives, but we both want what's best for this avatar called Richard Merritt. And with that being said, you could add on to that, whatever you got to do, Dr. B. But I just wanted to run that by you real quick, Dr. B. I felt that was something important I want to let you know, Doc, as an elder.
You know, nature and history doesn't repeat itself.
Yes, sir.
Oak trees, every oak tree is different. Every leaf on every tree is different. There's no loop in nature like we have in music, where it's just a loop going around and around, 4 bars or 2 bars. It's always changing. It's always going through transition. It's almost like nature is able to improvise and find the best way to the light or to the soil or to the water. We have to realize that the diversity of people, the diversity of mindsets is what makes us so incredibly powerful. There's no one way. There's no agreement. Do you know that in science, none of the scientists agree on what gravity is? They don't agree on what the sun. They think some people say, well, the sun is on fire. Well, they say, well, there's no oxygen in space. How can it be on fire? Well, it's a plasma. It's a liquid. It's a this. There's all these ideas and theorems that all are people pondering what it is from their perspective or what they have created in their mindset, because we're all channeling different rays of light.
Yes.
We're all born to do something different. We're not going to agree. There's no such thing as one way. There's no such thing as one rule, one law.
Right.
The laws of nature are shifting and changing. There's new discoveries every day. I don't even agree with my old self. 2 years ago, I'm a totally different person I was 2 years ago. I'm a totally different person. People say, well, Dr. B, I saw a lecture you was doing, or I listened to this. I said, well, you can't ask me too much about that because I was channeling at the time, and that was that particular person at this time, and I'm brand new. I'm brand new every single day. I allow myself to be creative in the moment, and whatever light, whatever energy is coming through, I allow that to happen. When we begin to allow the differences to show up, there's no one way. Who do you gravitate towards? There's people that in no way like Dr. B. I get messages sometimes from some folks, and they're nitpicking. You said this wrong, and you're making a joke about something that's really serious. And people say that I'm this, and I'm a heretic, and I'm a that. I'm like, damn, heretic. I gotta look that word up. Heretic. That means my hair. Okay, it's my hair. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that they throw at you, but they're just words.
Right.
They're just perspectives. And once we realize that everybody has a perspective, we're not. My thing is never to fight with other people. You see, the art of war is not to fight. The art of war is to see what's coming towards you, and figure out how you're going to navigate your way around that. The perspectives that come through Dr. B are totally unique to Dr. B. Nobody else may agree with it, but there's some people who say, yes, that makes sense to me. You see, they like that flow. You see, so when we started getting into this antagonizing viewpoint, is because we're caught up in conflict. We're caught up in war. We're caught up in, this competition. Who's better? Who really knows the truth? There is no one truth. There is no one truth. That's a part of the thing here. There's your truth. There's what you see. Right. There's your vision, your version. You get to choose as the captain of your ship. But once you start, figuring that you're on a warship, because you're worshiping this person. And if somebody says something that's different than the person you worship, then you go to fight with them. No, they're wrong. Why would they say that? And black people are from Africa. Well, where did Africa even come from? Who told you was from Africa? Where is Africa? How big is Africa?
Mm.
What is it? You don't even know where the name came from. And you know, we got to go back to Pangea. We got to go back to Alkebu, where there was no people here then. Who told you that? The people that weren't here, they just got here, going to tell you what was there thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago. And you believe them.
That's deep. The people who weren't there that just got here are going to tell you what was happening hundreds of thousands. Oh, man.
And it's science. We've scientifically proven who Eve is. Eve was this, we found her in Olduvai Gorge. I was reading that, you know what I'm saying? And the Leakey family, Mr. and Mrs. Leakey, were digging in a hole. And they found she's small. She has a monkey-like brain and a human body, and she's very small. And that's the Eve. Come on, man. I want to know who built these buildings like these cathedrals. Who? What? They got buildings that are so huge, and they go down like 10, 20 stories, built before the 1800s with sacred geometry. Everything is perfect. Based on the north and south, the 7 directions, not just the 4, and based on the energy ley lines of the planet. Now, who built these? Because before 1800, all you had was horse and carriage and shovels. How did you dig down 10 stories and go up so high and lift these huge stones and create all this sacred geometry with a donkey, a shovel? Right. See, these people couldn't do it because there's many different groups of beings who have visited here or lived here or been here at a time way before. Right. We're not the most advanced people. We're like the 5th installment of beings on the planet. We're number 5. Number 5. We talk about the beginnings and the oldest. You don't know what the oldest is. How do you do it? Through carbon dating? Carbon dating is only accurate 5,000 years. They now know that carbon dating is not as accurate as they thought. There always needs to be a beginning and an end. Why? There needs to always be a good and a bad. But you need to realize that between good and bad, there's only 1 degree of separation. Between up and down, there's only 1 degree of separation. Between rich and poor, there's only 1 degree of separation. Between, being healthy or being ill, there's only 1 degree of separation. Once you realize that there's only 1 degree of separation, you will stop connecting to these ideas and these things that they've told you that's concrete and scientifically proven. Scientifically proven. By who? Right. Who died and made you God? That's what they used to say. Who died and made you? How you don't know? You're pondering. You're guessing. There's guesstimates. Nature never repeats itself. Nothing in nature is the same. Why should we be the same? 2 crows are not the same. Why are we trying to agree and make everybody agree with one thing? We're very diverse. Let's be diverse. And whatever's flowing through Brother Rich is different than what's flowing through, King Simon. You see what I'm saying? We're all different. And one of the most beautiful things that you did was you saw the situation between Billy Carson and I before we could see it. I could never think that I, first of all, would be able to be on an interview with him. This guy's a brain. He's just spewing out information and dates and times and angles. And I'm like, whoa. And I remember at the time, he wouldn't even laugh too much. He was just straight like a robot to me. So, oh, he's like a cyborg or something. It's just this information. It's no emotion. It's just, and then you put us on together. And I said something and he started laughing like crazy. He says, man, Dr. B, man, you got Billy Carson laughing because it is that diversity that came about. You saw something. You saw us being able to work together and flow together in a way that I couldn't see. Billy probably couldn't see, but it worked because we don't agree on everything, but we give you insights about the same thing in different ways. Once you have your insights together, now you can get your outside. Now you can see out because your inside is secure. You see, I started working with Billy. It changed everything. You know what I'm saying? You set that up. You were talking about the blueprint for God power. I'm like, man, how are we going to do this blueprint for God power? This is pretty deep. What is this cat on? But now, as we know, the blueprint for God power has made history. No event like that was done that way ever before. But if you were looking at models of before, right? And if you were looking to agree with everybody else, right, it wouldn't have happened. You struck out and did something that's never been done. That's jazz. That's improvisation. We have to be able to improvise. Improvise is a new word. Improvise. We got to be able to improvise in the moment. And that means to be able to feel the environment, see what choices we have, and make some choices based on what's best for us. And that's why that kinesiology class is so deep, because you can make using kinesiology the correct way, because there's many ways to do kinesiology. But the way I learned, I shouldn't say it's the correct way. The way I learned has a very specific way that I haven't seen anybody else do. But it's being able to choose what's already in the cards, or already in the Akasha, or already in the quantum field for you. Everybody's unique. Every moment is unique. This moment has never happened before. So the diversity of this moment, the way the light is shining, the way this day is right now is brand new. So let's be thankful for this particular time and take in the newness of now.
Let me ask you this question, Dr. B, with kinesiology. All right. So it kind of gives you, because I've seen people do the muscle test before. And when you think about something negative, your muscles are weaker than when you think about something positive. That's correct, right? Am I saying it right?
It's actually something affirmative or something that's not affirmative. Affirmative has to do with, is it firm?
Okay.
Is it locked in?
So let me ask you this, Doctor, because I'm trying to figure. So say you're in a relationship, and every relationship has its ups and downs. But during the down part of the relationship, you do some kinesiology testing, and you're like, damn, should I stay with this person? Should I leave this person? And the muscle testing, you get weak. So the person thinks, based on kinesiology, hey, maybe I should leave this person because every time I do this muscle testing, I get weak. But maybe you're just going through a rough period with that person. You shouldn't leave them, but you just have a lot of negative thoughts about that person at that time. So in a situation like that, how can kinesiology be helpful? Because I'm trying to figure out how it can help us in all areas.
First of all, if you're doing the type of kinesiology that I do, the question is very important.
Right.
If you're asking a question about something in the future, you'll get an answer, but it's not going to be based on what's going to really happen, because every future moment is changing based on now. So you got to be able, you've got to ask a question in the present. You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't know what negative or positive mean, because negative doesn't mean bad technically. Positive doesn't mean good technically. That's from the church. You got that. You know, be more. They want you to be more positive. That means they want you to be posing and stuck on the beliefs from the church. Negative means no gates. They don't want you out there thinking on your own, and you know what I'm saying, doing ceremonies at night, naked out there under the moon, and no, that's bad. So that's being negative. Negative means no gative, right? Or not being stuck. You know what I'm saying? Positive means unwavering, staying, posing, stuck on what we want you to believe. So the church gave us that whole thing about whether one is good or bad. But it might be better to use the word agreeable and not agreeable for you. So in this class, this particular one, because there's 3 classes, right? We did one already. A lot of information in one based on learning what kinesiology is. 2 is about the language. Learning to ask the correct question the correct way to receive an answer that's for you. Most times we're not asking the right question based on where our eyes are focused. Your eyes have a lot to do with this. If you're looking to the left, you're in the past. If you're looking to the right or leaning to the right, then you are in the construct future, which has not happened yet. So your questions have to be with your eyes in a certain position. Your chin must be in a certain position. Then the way you vocalize, the way you construct your question is key.
Right.
A lot of folks are asking questions and they're going to get an answer. You will get an answer, but that answer may not be one that's valid at this particular moment. And it may not be one that you can actually use, because if you stay stuck on that, you know, things change. You see?
Oh, definitely. So what's the difference between this class and the previous class that you just did?
The first class was more about defining, you know, kinesiology. and talking about what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This class is going to be more about the language. You know, we're going to explore how words and tones and feelings attract or repel your outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to formulate a proper question to receive an exact answer.
Mm-hmm.
How melody, rhythm, and tone attracts or repels your desired outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
We got to learn how to experience flow, ease, and independence. Now, independence is deep.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know most people make decisions and they're not independent decisions?
Explain.
They make decisions based on the way they were programmed from birth and before.
Mm-hmm.
You were programmed as a child, right? How to think and how to judge things. The average adult lives life as an adult based on the conclusions of a child. And did you?
Yeah.
Did you? This is the next piece.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that your brain is not totally developed until 25 years old? Did you know that all your brain cells are not even present and working until 25? Now, this is deep. Think about the choices that sometimes we have to make under duress. What are you going to be when you grow up? Make a choice. You got to go to college. You need to do this. You got to, they start driving this stuff. You need to be the first one in our family to go to college. Why I got to be the first one to go to college? You know, and then a lot of times you end up doing things to make your parents happy. Your parents ain't happy anyway. Your parents never did what they desired to do, but they want you to go do this thing. So you may suffer through your whole life doing what your parents wanted you to do, but you're never doing what you truly came here to do, what you were automatically programmed to do. Everybody has a natural genius within their cells. It's just a matter of being able to tap into it. So me, you know, I bucked the system. It was music ever since a child, but I didn't realize how many systems I had to fight, how many people I had to be able to not respond to stay in the flow of music. Now, for me, I had my elders were not happy with me. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing what was programmed into me. So I've stayed with it. But the average person is not able to do this because of fear. The fear of missing out, the fear of not being part of a group, the fear of being kicked out the family. What do you mean you're not going to school? You know, school is teaching you what? How to live in this system that's dying. Babylon is falling, right? So you want me to run into a burning house or burning barn that's falling and learn a system that doesn't even exist anymore. So a lot of the choices that we made as children and the conclusions that we made was based on our parents, based on on the political group they were involved in, or the church, or the community. So we made a lot of choices and decisions based on principles that don't work for you, but you did it to make them happy, to fit into a group, to be accepted by your peers. You see? So now all of a sudden you're retarded because you left your real true talent back in the past.
Right.
You're retarded. They used to call that retarded. You're not growing the way you could because you're stuck on principles and things that go against your natural flow, your natural order, your natural rhythm. You're not doing what your heart desires. You're doing what somebody else desires, which causes trauma. Now, since now you got trauma bonds, right? So you go meet somebody else with the same type trauma bonds. Your whole relationship becomes trauma. You see, so learning to ask the question that is best for you is important and best for you today. You have to ask a question that's right now. You see, once you learn that, then you'll learn how to ask this question. And you could look at your relationship and see sometimes that the challenges that you're having in your relationship are building strong bonds. Once you realize that this is alchemy, and in alchemy, the first stage, which is calcination, you must burn off all the things that are not a part of the true article. So if it's gold, you want to get pure gold? When you find gold, it's not pure. There's other things in the gold. Like when they're looking for gold, one of the things they find is the crystal or the stone called malachite. It's green. So sometimes there's bits of green in the gold or bits of other things in the gold. So you got to put it in this system that burns off. everything that is no longer the true article that you're looking for. So sometimes your relationship is set up to help you burn off some things, because a lot of times these opinions that you have and these points of views, right, they don't match up because you haven't matched up with yourself. In fact, when y'all hooked up, you weren't matched up. You hooked up because, oh, she's beautiful, oh, he's fine, he got money, and blah, blah, blah. Or your parents said, oh, that's the person you should marry right there. That's the one. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Don't be like your uncle and mess up because, he ended up with a fool. See, you're thinking, oh, my God, they know better than me. They're older than me. You don't have all your brain cells. You can't even think. Your central processing unit is not even working correctly. So they're plugging in programs all day, and you're just going along to get along, and you find yourself lost and turned out and stressed out. Now you got heart disease, the number one killer of people's heart disease, because a lot of people are not doing what's in their heart.
No, yeah. And
they're afraid to really do what they really want to do. There's a lady that I met years ago. She, did I meet her? No, I didn't meet her, actually. My friend knew her. See, sometimes your brain starts merging things. But she got a camera when she was really young, and all she did was photograph butterflies. The lady travels the world right now. She receives gobs of money. What does she do? Photograph butterflies. She follows the monarch butterfly from Maine, all the way down to somewhere in South America, Central America. She just takes pictures and stays in hotels and on beaches. She's living the life, but she followed her heart.
Right.
So what we're going to do in this class is teach people how to follow your heart, because your heart knows. Your heart is a part of the body. It beats a certain beat and a certain rhythm when something is affirmative and it's for you. It's on your path. Mm-hmm. You see, people want to know when they do the test. Well, I'm going to see if my boyfriend is cheating. Yep. See, I knew he was cheating. I learned in Doctah B's Kinesiology class how to get a yes or no. And that's a no good. You know what I'm saying? I knew it.
Oh, man. Your facial expressions, man. I mean, come on, Doc.
Crazy. Eyes be one eye moving opposite the other one. You know what I'm saying? You done snapped. Because the muscle test, you done learned the muscle test, or you didn't even ask the right question.
Right.
You could say, my boyfriend is cheating. It's going to say yes. You know why? You said my. That says me. Did you know that energetically you just said, am I a cheater? You think that you're saying my boyfriend. Well, the subconscious cannot perceive or conceive of anything outside of itself. I'm going to say it again. Your subconscious cannot perceive or conceive of anything outside of self.
So Doc, if I'm gossiping about somebody, and let's say I'm gossiping about King Simon to you, and I'm like, Doc, King Simon ain't shit. He's a low down dirty dog. And I'm saying my subconscious thinks I'm talking about me. If I'm everything negative I'm saying about King Simon, it's being transmitted through my cells as myself talking about myself. That's what you say.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? King Simon gave me a bad reading over there. I didn't like what he said. Somebody told me this once. I went there to reading with King Simon. I didn't like what he said. I'm like, well, you didn't like what he said, but it wasn't what I wanted to hear. Well, what did you want to hear? I wanted to hear something good. The same thing with like horoscope and all those type things, right? So it has these parts of you that you need to work on, which might be the negative or the disagreeable aspects. They're there for you to work on them. Then there's the positive aspects. You ain't got to work on them because you got that. That's already in flow. You got to work on the challenge. You got to work on the pain. You got to work on building and vaporizing and burning off through calcination, through alchemy, with the things that are no longer desired in your life. And this could be a big challenge for you. But if you're asking a question, is somebody else disagreeable? It's probably going to say yes. And the reason why, because it says, well, what did you eat today? Well, this morning for breakfast, I had grapes, I had some grits, and I had some vegan bacon. Do you know your body's at war right now? It says you're cheating. First of all, did you mix the fruit with the grits? You ate all this together? Your gut right now is going through war. So the answer is that the world is cheating because you're cheating. The world is lying because you're a liar. For you to even ask that question, is blah, blah, blah lying? Just going to say yes. Because right now, your question is making you a flatliner. A flatliner is a liar. A person that lies is a person whose statement does not move up and down vertically. It only moves horizontally. Do you see what I'm saying? And in a truth, in a lie, there's a bit of truth. That's what makes it strong. So you're asking a question about somebody else. It's to see if they're bad or good. Do you feel what I'm saying? When you ask a question, there's a special way to form the question. And I've done kinesiology and worked with pendulums for many years. But when I took this course, which was part of the subconscious alignment course that I happened to fall, I thought I just fumbled upon this, but actually it was something that was destined for me. It changed everything because I learned how to ask a question and get a proper answer based on this moment. When you learn how to ask the question, we don't even ask the right question. Look how we're taught to pray. Most people are begging. They beg. Oh God, please, I want to get that new blue Corvette Stingray that I saw the other day. Please, God, oh look. You're begging, your hands are all like this, you're all locked in. You don't realize that your pressure points, right? Because there's points in your hands. You're doing a reverse mudra and you're shaking and you're trying to beg on who? And God, which is you, says, man, we're not secure. This is an insecure place. We're at war. What are we doing? Why are we begging? Even in your quote unquote holy books, it says don't beg. If you're asking for things, that means you don't have it. You have to already have it. You already have to feel that you have the thing. You have to think from the desired goal, not of it. Think from it. Feel yourself in the car. I'm in it. Go into your mind and feel what it feels like. Go to the dealer, sit on the car, sit in the car. You know what I'm saying? Touch it and feel it. Close your eyes and get into the feeling. If you go up into your cranial brain, it's going to lie because your cranial brain has been programmed with nothing but lies. Almost everything you learn throughout your whole life is a lie. It's not the truth. It's not total factual things. It's not affirmative. Almost everything you learned in school from your parents, from your church, from your political party, from geometry to mathematics, it's all got faulty what? Fundamentals. Faulty fundamentals. And somebody taught you this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Think about it. They keep telling you that, 1 times 0 equals what?
0.
What's going on? What happened to the 1? Me times nothing, I disappear. If I multiply myself times nothing, I disappear. Whoa. This is the basic mathematics here. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Faulty fundamentals. Who talked about that?
Terrence Howard.
He was on it so much he upset the people. They snapped. Them folks is still worried about him.
Yeah.
Because they got to reteach everything. They got to close down the schools. They got to change. They don't want to change. They want to keep this thing the same and keep turning out, virtual mindless zombies. Right. Why? Every year is there a new zombie movie. Why is there always a zombie movie? They got a series of the dead, the undead, the dead.
Man, that shit is.
They finally slowed down on the vampire movies. It was vampires, so somebody sucking your blood, and now it's the zombies, zombie nation, the nation of zombies. You understand what I'm saying? You went from the nation of Islam to the nation of zombies. The average person is dead waiting on dirt because their mind is not alive because they've been killed based on stories and things that they were given that were not based on actual facts. Not even about your mate and what love is and sex and attraction, natural attractions. Almost all this stuff is based on some people who basically were living a lie. The last 2,000 years was like the age of manipulation. The last 2,000 years to get all the people to agree on something that's not based on any facts. So you leave yourself. You're not relying on yourself anymore. And then you want to leave the farm, right? Leave your natural community and go over here and join this thing so you can go to the mall, go to the grocery store and pick whatever you want, whether it's in season or out. Do you know what this does to you when you're not on the soil, you're not on the earth, and you have nothing based in true love and connectivity with the planet? Then they tell you who to vote for, what to vote for. They tell you who to, we're going to cancel this person. And they decide to cancel, and you believe it. They show you all these movies and all this proof, what they call social proof. It's not actual proof, it's social proof. And then they show you a graph on the wall to show you where the disease is now or where the problem is now. They got graphs. And you believe it. You say, oh my God, scientifically, this is the science. It is not the science. It is the manipulation. It's the sale of you getting to believe yourself, right? So you could be out there believing in whatever they want you to believe in. Just get a good job. The only way you're going to be wealthy. Do you know anybody who went to college and became extremely wealthy? There might be somebody, but very few people. You end up with it because, college teaches you how to keep a job. High school teaches you how to get a job. Most of the very wealthy people, they weren't living their life based on the education, which is a deducation for a lot of people. So being able to tap into your truth, being able to tap into who you really are, the natural resource that you have, which is golden, and stop blaming everybody for your condition. Now you're a victim. You might as well vote. When you go vote Dick Victorcrat. I'm a victim. Oh my God, I'm scared. And if I don't push this button, you hear what they say is going to happen in 2025. Do you know what happens in 2025? Do you know what Project 2025 is about? I'm not talking about that political 2025. I'm talking about the year 2025. Is that a 9? That has to do with completion? We complete a whole cycle? This is when we're supposed to wake totally up? This is when you're supposed to become, connected totally back to your original self? This is the year. Check it out. When your DNA, what they call the junk DNA, begins to recoil and recode itself. Actually encode itself, because they didn't see any activity in the junk DNA. You actually get to encode your DNA. You get to actually tell your genes what it is you want. You need to wear your genes. You bought them. But you think that your genes, right, are determining your life. That's what they call gene determination. When in fact, only 10% of your genes are predetermined. That's what you got from your parents, maybe, that kind of stuff. That means that 90% of your genes are waiting to be written by you. This is the genie story, asking you, your genes asking you each day, what do you desire? What is it that you desire? And what you're focusing on, you attract. That reticular activating system, it brings you more of what you're focusing on. Give you more of what you're funking for. That's George Clinton, right? Give you more of what you're funking for. See, what are you funking for? What are you focusing on? And that circle of whatever you're focusing on becomes bigger. If you focus on problems, and what you don't have the power to do, it gets bigger. But if you focus on things that you do have the power to change, that circle gets bigger. Only focus on what it is you could change. You can't okay, chemtrails. I got this one friend, he's not really a friend, it's an associate. I had to push him back. All they talk about is the earth is flat, the chemtrails. It's all about the problems. And they're conscious. This is what they call consciousness. They're angry, upset, in and out of relationships. They got all these health issues, even though they're supposed to be eating vegan. They're sick because they're focusing constantly on what they cannot control. I'm not saying that there's things in the world that we cannot control. There is. But if you focus on it, it becomes more clear. It becomes closer to you. It becomes more real. So if you focus on 2025 being your most amazing year yet, focus on today. Focus on the end of this year. Focus on what's happening in the harvest season. Focus on the solstice. Focus on the real Christmas. Go get God Power 1 so you can learn what the real Christmas is. and how powerful. That's what we need to be focusing on. That's happening in 2025 when you come all the way online. So what we got to do now is learn how to ask questions. We need to know how to know when and how to know when to know how. So this class on kinesiology helps you make better decisions and choices. It teaches you how to get in the winner's circle and stay in the winner's circle, no matter how much wind is blowing, no matter how many storms, no matter who is in office, who's in your office, who's your governor, who's your president. Are you present? Huh? Are you present in your presidency in your life? That's the question. If you're waiting for the world to tell you who you are and you're waiting for something to happen, you're waiting for a savior, then you're done. Forget it. It's over. Now, you might want to call King Simon. So you get with King Simon and get your numbers, because the numbers can help you. See, that can give you a guide. Well, if you had the kinesiology and you get your numbers, you understand your numbers, you understand the mathematics of how to make choices. But a lot of folks don't know how to make a choice because they don't know how to ask. And they're begging and hoping and praying based on luck. So when I'm choosing artists to work with, if I'm choosing herbs to work with, if I'm choosing formulation, I am constantly using kinesiology. And if it don't feel right, I'm not doing it. If I don't feel it in my gut, I'm not doing it. I don't care how much money y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do what Doctah B came here to do. But the minute you get into judging other people, you're done. You might as well forget it. You're basically the enemy. You're the devil. Oh, man, them people, what they did, and see, let me tell you about him. And he ain't no good. You are the devil. You're a government agent. How many government agents in the house? Raise your hand. That means that you're a part of a governing system that is a part of the downfall, and Babylon is falling, and you are babbling on and on about something that has none of your business. What is your business? What do you do? What are you here to do? What are you here to allow? What is the statement you're here to make? What is your legacy? What are you standing on? What is your legacy? What are you standing on? So what we're going to do with this class is change everything. Those who use this and use it correctly and ask the proper question, the proper way, your life will change. Because you can look at ingredients. You can be in the store choosing foods. You could choose businesses, whether you should do business with this person. You could do a muscle test really quickly. That's why people say, well, Doctah B, you make some great choices. It's because I'm muscle testing. I can feel it. Once you can feel it, but see, a lot of people's feelings are confused because they got all their emotions and stuff, which are, triggerfied. Is that a new word? Brother Rich, triggerfied? Is that a word?
Hey, now it is, man.
Triggerfied, right? You know what I'm saying? They was wearing white. I went to the meeting. They was all wearing white. That's some kind of cult. See, my mama told me to watch out for them people wearing all white. Doctah B, they had on all white. You know what that means? You know what I'm saying? People were having this look. I said, man, what's happening, bro? Because they was wearing all white, that means that they signify something? That's a choice in your head, and it's a judgment. We got to stop judging other people. Let people live their lives. And if somebody wants to be dead waiting on dirt, let them die. That's none of your business. What is your business? What are you here to do? How can you get fully in your body? Because most people are having an out-of-body experience. What does that mean? They live in their heads. They live in their cranial brains. And the cranial brain is not accurate. It's based on the past, right? That's information. It's the intel. Intel is information that's telling of the past. But what's happening right now, it has nothing to do with the past. This is where you become totally present. You become the gift. And you win one in the oneness moment of nowness. This class is going to help free people. One time we taught it once before. Change those people's lives, the ones who used it correctly, and begin to ask the question and not stop worrying about other people. Ask the questions, what's for you, not what they're doing. Because a lot of times if you think somebody's cheating or somebody's bad, it's because you are. I hear people talking about what this person did and who's that and who's only in it for the money. Then we got to look at you. You seem like that's you, and you upset because they got money. What do you care about their money? Because you don't have nothing. Somebody told you, that you needed to live a life of poverty. And if people got money, they're bad. They're not good. Are you crazy? A lot of people's brain is scrambled like eggs. And they're already fighting. Their earth is flat. Is your earth flat? I don't know whether it's flat or not, but what difference does it make? I better pay the bill. Look, I got a gas bill. They just sent a thing here in the mail. They said, Mr. B, your gas bill is X amount. Now, whether the earth is round, flat, egg-shaped, you know what I'm saying? If it got 3 holes in it like a bowling ball, if it's pyramid shaped, what I gotta take care of my business. So what about it? Well, they lie. They live too. So what are you doing? Are you a liar? Are you living the best life you came to live? Realize that the body never lies. We're going to tap into that this Saturday and learn the language. There's a certain language for asking questions. There's a certain language for moving through this spell that we're in. Once you learn that, oh man. Class number 3 is going to be next month. Class number 3 is going to be how to actually do the muscle testing technique. And some people in the last class said, Dr. B, when are you going to teach us the technique? I said, you're going to have to get the basis first. Because y'all be off and running with stuff and use stuff in the wrong kind of way. And now I'm responsible for teaching you something that you're using irresponsibly. We got to be able to respond in a way that is actually good for everyone. Brother Rich, you there?
Yes, sir.
I don't even know. Did you ask me a question? I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, I know how you do. Well, yeah, man. Listen, we ain't gonna be on too long today. It's an early show. I want to ask you this though before, and I know a lot of people are excited about the class. Somebody actually asked earlier. Let me see. Shout out to Sending Infinite Goddess for the super chat. Appreciate it. Somebody asked about. Okay, here we go. Will I still be able to purchase the class after 1026?
Yes, most of our classes are at elevationtime.com. And once the class is over, you could sign up for the class, right? And then watch it at any time you like. You see, you can have this, it's streaming. So you'll be able to stream it whenever you like. And yes, after the 26, you can still take the class. And the class is it's a nominal investment, but it's the type of investment that will change your life. You could just take one class. One of these classes will change you. If it doesn't, it's because you got so much resistance and you got to clear some of the cobwebs out your mind. That's a whole process, the cleansing and detoxification.
One question I want to ask before we get out of here. Somebody had put something. I don't see it now, but I remember it somewhat. Hold on, give me a second, Dr. B. It was about money. Where's it at? I don't see. All right, so basically the question, Dr. B, was about financial blockages. How to get rid of financial. Where's this question at? How to get rid of financial blockages. This is, and I want you've talked on this before, but the thing about it is, Dr. B, is that, what the hell did I just do? Dr. B, you still hear me? I did something. I don't know what I did. Doc, where you at? He'll log back in. I hit some button. No, I don't even see him in the backstage. Yeah, I don't even see him in the backstage. Dr. B, I want to ask him one question about money. This is something that, this is something that could, the link. Oh, somebody asked for the link. The link to the class is in the description of the. Here goes Doc. Doc, I hit a button by accident. You can hear me?
I hear you now. I hear you now.
Hit a button by. I was looking for the question, and I ended up hitting the button by accident. Doc, I mean, this is probably in this spiritual community, especially I would say in the black, what we call black, because you know there's so many names with Moors and this and now all types of names for melanated folks. But in the melanated spiritual community, I find that money is probably the biggest hurdle for a lot of people out there, Doc. They just no matter how much affirmations they say, no matter they try all these workshops, they do these spells, these rituals, and they do so many things, but they just can't seem to find financial prosperity, Doc. And it's frustrating to the point that when you come up here and you talk about you create your own reality, it almost seems like you're scamming the people or you're lying to the people or you're not telling the people something because in their world, they just can't seem to get over that financial hump. So keep in mind, we're talking to the black spiritual community who needs it. This is based on a question I seen, but I can't find it. This is based on people who just can't get rid of financial blockages. What advice would you continue to offer them when they feel like they don't tried it all, Doc? They don't try Tony Robbins, this one, that one, Doctah B, Billy Carson, and they still, stuck on bills month to month, day to day. Talk to that individual who asked that question, my brother.
See, a lot of people have made a deal with the poverty mindset. They were born into it. They got it from their parents and their community. And some folks believe that money is the root of all evil, you see. And there's another piece to that statement that actually says the lack of money is the root of all evil, because folks that don't have money may do some evil to get some money. So some of these statements have been changed. You see, wealth is a mindset. It's not just what you have in your pocket. It's what you have in your heart. You see, so sometimes because we're taught to hate somebody that looks like us, that we feel that you're being ripped off. But actually, you're being ripped off because you're ripping yourself off. A lot of folks are stealing from themselves because they don't feel worthy. They don't know what wealth is. They don't know what it feels like. For instance, I was working with some rappers in LA.
Right.
And they were quote unquote gangster rappers.
Mm-hmm.
And, I couldn't agree with the mindset that they had. And I was always attempting to shift them into something higher. Mm. But they were street griots. They were talking about what they saw in their street. So that's okay. And I asked them one day, I says, have y'all been to the beach? They said, huh? The beach? I said, yeah, beach. Now, we're right near Slauson Boulevard in Los Angeles, those of you who know. If you stay on Slauson, right, Slauson will take you to the deepest parts of the hood, but it will also take you to the ocean. These folks had not been to the ocean. I said, so you never just got on this street right here, We all walked out. I said, see this street? It connects you to the ocean. They had never been there. So I said, let's go. I put everybody in the car. We got a van. Everybody, we're going to the beach. They were like freaking out. They were looking at neighborhoods and houses. Said, man, we never really been out of our neighborhood. We were afraid. We heard that there's racism down here and there's this. I said, let's see if we, come upon what you call racism. When we got to the beach, the brothers looked at the sand and they said, wow, this is the ocean. One brother picked up sand in his hand and he said, I have never felt sand like this. We walked out and they looked at the ocean, and I noticed these are hardcore brothers. Some of them were in tears, just sitting there, opening their arms, letting the wind hit them. They had never seen it, and the sun was going down. The sun was setting. This was mind-blowing. These folks shifted just from seeing and having an experience outside of what they knew. All of the stuff that they thought they knew, they didn't know. Let me tell you something. We went back to the studio and everybody was just quiet. They started changing their lyrics. I didn't tell them. They started changing what they were talking about. People in different gangs were shaking hands and hugging. This was changing the mindset because we changed the environment. Once you change your environment, it changed your mindset. Your mind becomes shaped like the things you believe in. Your mind becomes shaped physically like the things that you focus on and believe in. These brothers, they started asking me about books. Dr. B, what do you read? I started bringing books to the studio, ISIS papers, murder by injection, you know what I'm saying? The studying lights and telomeres and, all of these things about food, fast food nation. And they started changing. I didn't ask them to. It was the change in their environment. When they saw something they hadn't seen, it changed them. So when it comes to money, a lot of people don't know what it is to have real money and to look at money as energy, to look at it as currency. So they think of spending as losing instead of I'm investing or I'm circulating. If you do one thing, every time you give up money, which is energy, currency, all you have to do is say return 1,000-fold. You write a check, return 1,000-fold. Some people write it on the check. You put your credit card or your debit card in, just think in your mind as you push the numbers, return 1,000-fold. That energy begins to come back to you because you're sending something out and it's reaching into the world. You're creating a being that's going to go get more of itself. Because to really make change, you may need finances. You may need to have a certain amount of money to make the change you need. If they say it's time to leave the country, we got to go. You got to get a plane ticket. You need a passport, certain things to get up out of here. But sometimes the mindset is programmed where I'll go buy something at the mall. I'll go buy some sneakers, cost $1,000. I mean, these cats had $500,000 sneakers on and hadn't been to the beach. What? You haven't been anywhere. I remember when DJ Quick, one of the artists that I was producing, he's like, man, they were going to go on the road for the first time. And he said, B, man, what do you think it's going to be like when they were going to Texas or somewhere? I says, hey, man, it's going to be just like Compton. He was like, huh? So he goes on the road, he goes to all these cities, and he comes back, he says, just like Compton. He makes this song called Just Like Compton, which I should have got credit on, but you know what I'm saying? He said he wrote it, but it's all right. He can have it. Just like Compton. The whole world is just like Compton. The whole world is just like your viewpoint that you have about things. It is what you're creating. So if you would like to be poor, broken, lonely, you think that everybody who's asking for money or everybody that you donate to is ripping you off, then you've ripped yourself off. We should all be wealthy. This is ours. All of it. This land is our land. But you got to act and walk a certain way. You can't think that you're being taken advantage of because somebody is asking for finances to do this. In order for us to be here doing this, it costs. People don't have no problem giving the money to the preacher. Who's this preacher? They made sure he had an airplane. Bought him an airplane. And people saying, oh, he ripping the people off. Obviously, the people don't see it that way. That's not your business. If they want to get a man an airplane, but that stuff ain't real. It ain't real to you. Are you real to yourself? Are you being real? Why are you in other people's pockets so much, in other people's business? And why would you give somebody else money who don't look like you and act like you and talk like something you could use? Why would you give them money? Why you running to the mall? Why you running over here to buy these clothes? Why you got all this stuff? It's a whole hustle. It's a whole thing. And it's a program that people have to keep people broke. Go out and fight your own people. That's what I call the government agent. Oh, man, I'm telling you, man, I know his real name. So what? You know, his real name is the name he's calling himself. Why are you tripping? Because we're taught to oppress each other. Because once you've lived in oppression for so long, your mindset becomes a mindset of oppression and you begin to oppress others. So you just as bad as what you call the bad people, the evil ones. You become them. You act like them. And you begin to fight and tear down your own power. You begin to fight people, right? And tear down folks who are trying to build things up. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking for, as Billy Carson says, let's find some leaders. Who's leaders out there? Y'all ready to be leaders? You ready to be leaders? You want to donate? Go to Elevation Time and donate. We got a donate button at elevationtime.com. Thank you for all the folks who have donated at elevationtime.com. What are you donating to? What are you donating to? It's called Elevation Foundation for Abundant Life. Elevation Foundation for Abundant Life. We're helping people become abundant. We're helping people become wealthy. I have helped 13 people now that I can count become very rich, very wealthy. Doctah B himself has helped 13 people. Some of them are on television, some are on the news, some are in sports, who are extremely wealthy right now. I don't pump myself up and talk about, oh boy, I did this. I guided them. There's people right now who are healthy, who are wealthy, who come to me for guidance because I'm gonna give it to them real. I'm gonna tell them what I would do if I were you, and I'm gonna muscle test. I'm gonna muscle test to see what may be good for you. And once you learn this type of muscle testing, because this muscle testing we're teaching this weekend is personal kinesiology. There's a different type of kinesiology for your testing other people. That's going to be a bigger course. That one you got to really, there's a foundation there that's really deep. But this personal kinesiology is easy. It's simpler, I should say. It's not easy. And what we're saying is that once you choose to be wealthy, once you choose to say, I'm worth it, once you choose to get out of other people's business and produce what you need to produce within your own business, now all of a sudden you have a mindset which says currency. Get out of the word money. Because everybody rich is not evil. That's not true. Every corporation that's out there is not bad. That's not true. And you keep talking about how bad it is for black people right now, how tough it is. I know some black folks doing really well. There's some black communities that you don't even know about because they're not on the internet. They're not in the news. They don't need to be targets. There's communities of people that are brown, black, and red right now in America who are way outside the city limits, who've created places and spaces off the grid. Some are on the grid. Whole communities of people doing well, helping each other. So each individual may not be extremely rich, but the whole community together is rich. Do you know there's people east of LA that actually got the 40 acres and a mule? I blew my mind. I don't know if you know about this, Rich. There are lots of people outside of Atlanta, in Georgia, who received the 40 acres and a mule. I was riding through this area and I was like, man, this must be, I didn't see no people. So I said, this must be, this is good old boys type, big old farms and little houses with all these acreage and horses. I said, yeah. And the brother who's with me says, no, wait, this is black. I said, what do you mean? He said, these are the people that got the 40 acres and a mule. They've been here forever. They actually got it. Some people didn't know how to go apply for it. They didn't know how to go get it. It wasn't on television and it wasn't on news and social media. So certain people was there when it happened and they got it. You don't know about that. So when we start talking about how bad it is for us and what we don't have and how we're treated, that's only a small group in the vision that they're giving you. We are doing really well. There's so many people who have healed themselves from cancer, diabetes. There's people who were dealing with illness that are changing themselves. So when you say something about a group of people that you don't have facts for, you become, it's a vibration that sends something through yourself that says, I'm a liar. I'm not good. I'm not righteous.
All right. So Doc, let me ask you this. So based on what you just said and, this mindset that we have to have when we grow up, our community, our environment doesn't reflect that mindset. So we often have to rebel against the very things that we love. I want to ask you, Doctah B, would you rather be lonely and rich or lonely and right? Or would you rather sacrifice a part of your being for the sake of having a community, for the sake of the family and the loved ones that you came into this world with, Doc? Because that is that's what a lot of people are faced with. All right, I could be right, but I'm gonna be lonely, right? I could be rich. I'm gonna be, none of my loved ones just come with me because they're gonna turn jealous, they're gonna turn their backs, or they're not gonna understand. Or I could sacrifice, an aspect of my being, not fully be who I'm meant to be, but at least I'm gonna have mama and cousin Ray and my friend Tina and Bobby. They still gonna love me because I didn't change too much. So this is what people are faced with, Doc. And then let me just say this before I continue, before you answer that question. A comedian, what's the brother name? The dude that's on Friday, the light skinned dude. What's his name? Y'all know his name, Mike Epps. He said he had a friend. The friend seemed to be happy when he was on cocaine and when he was doing bad. And he said, Mike said when he was messed up, the friend embraced him, loved him. But when Mike Epps said whenever he cleaned up and he came around his friend was like, nah, man, his friend didn't show him a love. So Mike Epps said he would get high on purpose just to feel the love from that friend until eventually he realized that I can't do this shit no more. He only mess with me when I'm fucked up or when I'm down or I'm in the gutter. So this is a real shit that we go through in the Black community. Talk to them about that, Doctor B.
And I'd like to say that it's not just the Black community, it's communities, period, because we're all connected. A lot of folks have what we call winner's remorse. So we'd rather act like losers if we're hanging out with losers so we don't lose the losers. So we will lose and act like we don't have knowledge and power or wealth. We'll give it all up so we can stay a part of the clan, stay a part of the group. Because if you win, you'll be by yourself. So you may not want to do that because you feel like you're going to be alone. Actually, you could never truly be alone because when you get to certain levels, you'll begin to attract people at that level. But you got to be like the trees and be ready to let the leaves go from the last season. You've got to let it go. In order to get to another level, you have to let the last level go. There's so many friends that I had to leave and family, and I've seen some of my friends even recently, and I'm like, wow, what happened? And they're like, man, Dr. B, man, you look young, man. You look the same, except you got white hair. I'm like, and then I'm looking at them like, what happened to you? These people look like they're 90 years old. What happened? They're still living. They're still talking the same talk. I'm still living in my back and forth over my mama's house. You know what I'm saying? People stay stuck because they're stuck. And they're not willing to give that up. And you can't force them. You have to keep elevating. Otherwise, you limit yourself. You have to keep changing and going through the metamorphosis. You just can't become the caterpillar, going through the cocoon and become the butterfly. You got to do that cycle again because the butterfly lays eggs that become caterpillars again. There's cycles. You keep on growing and going, but you have to realize that at each level, you're going to meet new people. But a lot of people, they want to be rich, but poor still got them. Some people want to be black, but white still got them. Some people want to be up, but down still got them. Some people want to be forth, but back still got them. And that is what their challenge is. That's their life challenge. What are you going to do? If you feel remorseful for your family and friends and you're not going to change, you're going to eat when it's time Thanksgiving come, what happens? Well, you know what I'm saying? They was, I've been a good vegan and a raw foodist and a fruitarian, but I can't, mama, she made her chitlins and I got to have them because, it would be mean. It would be messed up for me not to eat the chitlins and the ham hocks. And I just ate just a little bit. You see, you're changing for the people to make them happy. Most of the people that you're trying to make happy they don't even know what happiness or joy is. That you're trying to make them happy. So a lot of times you end up with what's called the fawn personality. I'm going to break this down before we get out of here. Let's say you're in a family and your family, they're basically fighters. Or they're a certain way that you don't feel like you are, but you can't stand up and speak out. So you're basically in stress mode. You're in fight or flight. You feel the fight or flight. You want to run, but it's your family. You can't run away. You can't fight them because it's your family. You grew up with them. This is your family. That's your blood. So what happens for a lot of people, they turn into what they call the fawn personality. The fawn personality is very interesting. I can't leave my family. I can't run from my family. I can't fight my family. So I'm going to create a personality to deal with my family. And I'm going to act a certain way. I'm going to always be there to help them. I'm going to be the life of the party. I'm going to serve everybody and have a smile on my face. And I'm a jigaboo dance and everything else. Whatever they do, I'm going to do the same thing. That is being inauthentic. But it's a survival skill where you're trying to not buck the situation. It could be a group that you're in, the same thing. It could be a political party. It could be friends. So you begin to fawn and you begin to get sarcastic. You have these jokes and all this stuff you're always saying. Sarcasm is not an agreeable thing to be. That's tearing the flesh. Always got something smart to say. Always trying to be loudest and laugh the most and do the most high, getting the most high. You know, that's not getting to be the most high. Getting the most high and being the most high is a different thing. That's a little thing right there. But anyway, so the fawn personality is where you're faking the funk. You create this personality that is not based on who you really are, but it's based on you trying to fit in. And the people use your energy. Call Harry. You got to call Harry. He calls himself Hotep now, but you know his real name is Harry. So you take off your Hotep clothes and go down there and put on your Harry clothes when you go down to the family because they need your energy. The people who are hungry, the average person is like a parasite. They need the energy of somebody who's different, but you're not using your difference. You're not expressing your difference. You're not expressing your power. Why? Because you're fawning. You're just going along with it. Or you got winner's remorse or loser's remorse. That's another one. Loser's remorse. You want to, everybody else around you is a loser. Everybody else around you is a pigeon. Now here you are. You was born as an eagle. You was born as a bird that flies super high, but you're going to hang out with pigeons. Why? Because you don't want to be talked about. You want to have friends. At least you got friends, and you know what I'm saying? You pecking around on the ground for cigarettes and popcorn from human beings, and you're just going along to get along. But here you're an eagle. Even the pigeons are nervous because you normally might eat them. If you've got the wings, it's time to fly. If you're ready to fly, this is the time. Stop waiting for something to change. Become the change. Feel as if you're already at the goal. Live as if you're at the goal. Now, all of a sudden, you begin to break the spell, and you got to walk away from some of these people. They're going to cry and scream. You may have to change your phone number. You'll see in the caller ID that this is the pigeons calling. Pigeons, pigeons, pigeons. You know they pigeons. And they're looking around for leftovers. And they'll peck you to death. You need to get your pecking order together and learn to spread your wings and fly. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to walk away from misery and sadness in the language of disempowerment and people who's praying and begging and wanting and never actually doing anything? Now, it's going to be maybe a little what you call lonely for a minute because you're going to be in a new space. You have to learn the new environment. But then you create a vortex. That vortex of energy changes you. You go through a whole transmutation. Then you'll start meeting people at the next level. You start meeting people who you agree with. Now, it's not going to be a big crowd because when you get to the place, right, of success, there might not be as many people. But now you can command things. You can build the garden for the community. You can go back to the community and do something. You can create a school. You can create classes and workshops. You can do that if that's what you desire or whatever it is you desire. You have to become the vortex. You know, we go out to Arizona because we want to go to the vortex. You know what I'm saying? I want to go feel the energy of the pyramids. You can become the pyramids. You can become the singing bowl, become the sage, become the crystal. It's all in you. It's not external, it's internal. And we use these tools to get there, but you must become it. We are all alchemists. We're amazing. We're beautiful. Be beautiful. Be you. Be more beautiful. Be full of yourself instead of being full of mess. And stop being plastic. You feel like the lashes is going to make you really successful. The hair, fake butt, fake everything, fake smile, fake talk. Oh, my brother. Grand risings today, my brother. Peace. Right? Is that who you really are inside? Because the last person that said this to me not long ago, oh, brother, congratulations on winning all those awards and such and such and such and such. 10 minutes later, this person didn't know that I was standing in a crowd behind them and they were talking about me in a disagreeable way. Same person. Oh, Dr. B, he ain't that nigga. He over there. I heard he live up on such and such. He got 5 houses. I don't even know where they heard this stuff from. 5. I need to go find these houses. And all this stuff they're saying to your face is a lie because they lied to themselves. So you can't just go with the look of what you call consciousness. You can't just go with the website or the IG, the look, because people can fake it. They got filters. It's artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not just the computers. It's a person who is not being truly honest and open. We've been getting the artificial intelligence from the people who are running the world, who we think are running the world for many years. The news is artificial intelligence. Santa Claus was artificial intelligence. Mickey Mouse, Disney, artificial intelligence. I am saying that we have the true power within us. It's time to tap in. It's time to get a true, authentic self, and you got to shed all that stuff and get away from the pigeons and spread those wings. Are you ready to do that?
Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. Hey, let me see what shout out to King Simon in the chat. King, I see you in the chat. King Simon is sharing some links from Dr. B about classes and products in the chat. Besides that, I'm looking to see if there's anything else I want to touch on that's in the chat.
Is today Wednesday?
Yes, sir. Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. I need to mention that tomorrow I'm doing a free webinar. Free webinar. Elevationtime.com is a free webinar. Or make sure you get on our email list at elevationtime.com. And this is like Dr. B's insights about, I talk about a lot of things that's going on in the world, in ourselves, and opportunities that we have. I talk about the herbs and the products that we offer. So that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll spend an hour or two talking about, things that we don't normally talk about in the mainstream. And that's totally free, you see, for everyone. So tell your friends, tell your family, Dr. B's Insights tomorrow night, a free webinar or free webcast. But on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the class, The Body Never Lies. A lot of people have been waiting on this one. This is about personal kinesiology and how to tap in and how to know when and when to know how.
Amazing. Can't wait. I'm excited, Dr. B. I guess that's a wrap. Anything else before we get out of here, Doc?
Anything else? Somebody said, what about being in between a pigeon and an eagle? That is not something that's natural. It's impossible for there to be. I mean, because the pigeon is never going to mate with an eagle, and the eagle is never going to mate with a pigeon. It's the only way you could get in between. If you're born as an eagle, once we shed the parasites, the mental parasites, the spiritual parasites, the physical parasites, the eagle begins to become born. It begins to fly. Most of us were born as eagles. Most of us were born as winners. And the world and the programming that we agreed to, that we allowed, is what turned us into pigeons. Even pigeons are actually doves.
Right.
They're actually doves. So we have to be very careful of agreeing that we're something when we're maybe not. Be neutral for a minute. For a minute, be nothing. Find time during a day just to breathe and just be nothing. No agreements. Don't be male, female, or they. Just be nothing. No one thing for 1 minute. Right. And that begins to change you. Amazing. So this weekend is going to be powerful. So bring your pens and papers and tell your friends, the body never lies. And that connects us to the Akasha. It connects us to the quantum field. So if you'd like to tap into that, I'll see you on Saturday.
Amazing, family. I want to thank everybody who tuned in this afternoon for the early show. Make sure y'all go to the free webinar tomorrow and sign up for the one on Saturday. This is something to be able to get immediate answers to questions you have and to learn how to properly use the language to ask questions. I mean, this is some stuff that isn't really talked about in our community. So for Dr. B to come to the community and share this information, don't take it lightly, family. Do not take it lightly. Take this thing serious because it's definitely going down. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Dr. B for coming on the platform. I'm just reading some of the comments. I was going to ask something, but I'm gonna let Doc go now. I ain't going to hold up too much longer. But hey, with that being said, Doc, man, I'm going to see you soon, my brother. I appreciate everything you do for the community.
Thank you very much. And I'll see, we're going to be doing that God Power 3 soon.
Yes, sir.
God Power 3, y'all. Y'all get ready for this one.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be powerful.
All right, family. Peace, family. Peace, Doctah B.
This is Doctah B, Sirius, here to inform you that we're offering The Body Never Lies, Class 2, October 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This class is going to explore how to use personal kinesiology to help you refine and define your decisions and bring out the best in you. Learn the science of asking in the language of liberation. You see, language can be your liberator or your lockdown. How you ask a question and how you feel and how you vibrate and in the level of frequency that you are in or on has a lot to do with your outcomes. So what we're going to do is cut to the chase and give you the cheat codes on how to make the best choice for you. Personal kinesiology is the science of asking and receiving a definite yes or no to help you achieve your goals. It's time. Let's go. I'll see you there.